any benefit to the bottom line from these cuts is offset by what's been lost.
You're not hearing much about food recalls, drug recalls, safety recalls, warning letters. You don't know about it.
Staff is now dealing with what was already hard enough to deal with 50 cases per person. They're now dealing with 300 to 350 cases.
I'm scared for myself. I'm scared for Americans' health. I'm scared for the future of research. I'm scared for NIH.
His legacy is about tearing this country and this planet apart.
Joining me to help break it all down, CNBC contributor Ron Insana. Brendan Buck is a former aide to Speakers John Boehner and Paul Ryan and an MSNBC political analyst. With me here in studio is NBC's Christine Romans and Adrian Elrod, former senior advisor and senior spokesperson for the Harris-Walz campaign. Welcome, everybody. Christine, unpack this report for us because I think it surprised a lot of people. What does it signal about the economy?
It signals that the U.S. labor market, the job market, is resilient and it's strong. And so we're beginning this period of tariff and trade war uncertainty from a good position. And I think that that's really important to note. You've got an unemployment rate of 4.2%. That's still historically low. You see those 9,000 federal jobs lost, about 26,000 so far this year. There'll be more. The government, even in this report, Chris, pointing out that if you are a government worker who accepted a buyout and you're still being paid, you're not counted in these numbers yet. You're still seen as employed. So there'll be more of those numbers. But overall, when you talk to small businesses and mid-sized businesses, there's been so much of a shutdown of buying and hiring. And more recently, we'll see if that filters into months ahead. But for now, steady as she goes in the job market.
All right, Ron, we heard just yesterday from the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce that small businesses are waiting for certainty. Big companies are pulling guidance because they don't know what's coming. So how does that square with what you're seeing in these jobs numbers?
Well, I think it's early, Chris, in the sense that, even through April, when the tariffs were just announced, the reciprocal tariffs on April 2nd, the data for this report gathered around April 12th in that week. And so, there's a bit of a lag time between the time in which the tariffs were announced, rolled back, at least in part, and then some added on for the economy to feel that shock. I mean, we effectively have, at this point, and this is something that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent admitted to, a trade embargo with China, even though over the weekend, or just last night, I should say, they opened the door to talks. There's a long lag time. The last ships that are coming from China to the United States with goods that don't have tariffs associated with them are just hitting our shores. So in 6 to 8 weeks is really when we could start feeling this, barring any, improvement in negotiations between these countries and others. So it's early to use these data to suggest that the tariffs have in any way slowed labor market growth, have pushed up inflation, are pushing us near recession. Those concerns, even with the GDP report we saw yesterday, are still weeks to months away.
So it shouldn't have any significant impact on economists' perception of the kind of impact tariffs could have down the road. Again, as you say, unless there's a bunch of deals that get made very fast.
Right, and deals that are meaningful. It's not just, okay, we're gonna stop selling fentanyl ingredients. Well, that's important, and certainly from a health perspective, dampens the impact of this crisis that we've been having. When it comes to material goods that go on retailer shelves and so on and so forth, unless or until we know that we have a concrete deal that kind of removes these barriers in both directions, there's still a great deal of uncertainty that's going to constrain both consumer and business behavior for some time to come.
I haven't seen, Brendan, anything on Truth Social yet. I wonder if we're going to see the president taking credit for this in the economy right after claiming it's actually Joe Biden's economy.
Yeah, well, the White House already put out paper declaring a jobs boom today. So, yeah, of course, when the GDP numbers go down, it's Joe Biden's economy. When jobs numbers look good, it's Trump's economy. Look, I think this shows two things. One, as we discussed, Donald Trump inherited an economy that was ready to take off. He didn't have to do a whole lot to have a really solid economic legacy, but he's completely botched it through this trade policy. But I love it when they embrace, a good jobs number like today, because I do think the president is going to own whatever happens here, for better or worse. And there will be no being able to blame Joe Biden if store shelves are empty. There will be no pandemic to blame. This is Donald Trump economics unfiltered. He set himself up with an administration where no one is restraining him. There are no guardrails. We're going full Trump. And we're going to see what the consequences of that are. And I don't think they're going to be good. And I hope that we learn a lesson that this kind of populist economics gets you nowhere really fast.
And I think, Adrian, we'll hear Democrats argue this doesn't change the bottom line. For them, the bottom line was what Elon Musk started with. I'm going to save $2 trillion, then $1 trillion. And, they kept cutting how much.